But there are bigger questions, more pressing. And I'm going to file this one under the exact same space that I file 49er injuries. Because I shrug emoji you. What the hell is anybody supposed to do about this? Argue about substations? Fire trainers? I don't know what to do about 49er injuries. And I'm going to say the same thing about Giants, frontline, middle-of-the-order players who have lengthy periods of success in Major League Baseball. And then they become Giants. And they can't bleep and hit. Rafael Devers, based on WAR, there's a whole article that got written in the United Kingdom about this today.
I saw that.
Rafael
You said
Devers,
a link about yahoo.uk. Sports.
I got to go all the way to a new continent to figure out what the hell's going on with the supposed Giants' best player. Quote, the third worst player in baseball. Would anybody like to venture a guess or an opinion or some insight? I'm wide open. 888-957-9570. What the hell happened to Rafael Devers and Willy Adames? They can't hit. And I'm completely at a loss as to what's going on. Unless there's some injuries that I don't know about. What the hell is going on with the Giants offense? They're the worst offense in baseball.
And it's because those two, I mean, the other guys are actually patently doing pretty well, Schmidt and Jung Ho Lee, and although he's been moved down to the order today against another lefty, but Ramos is heating up. Chapman's been pretty much solid all year, and if you're not a fan of All Rise, that's a you problem because he's hitting 300 again. All he does is put bat to ball and get base hits, but you look at your offense, and it's been Devers, and it's been Adames, and both of them are notorious slow starters, but Rafael Devers has 2 home runs so far this year in 29 games. He's on pace to have a 13-homer year, which would be far and away the worst he's had in, since 2020, which was a COVID-shortened year, or back to his rookie year, 2017, when he only played 58 games. It's a problem.
Rafael Devers, I want everybody to, this is what I want you to take to the next cubicle at work. And go see Bob or Tiffany or whoever's next door, the Giants fan near you, and go, hey, did you hear? Did you know? Rafael Devers has struck out in more than 1/3 of his at-bats as a San Francisco Giant.
This year or all time?
All of them.
Oh, wow.
Last year as well. Rafael Devers has struck out. Forget making out. He has struck out in over 1/3 of his at-bats as a San Francisco Giant. And we are approaching, we're not there yet, but we're approaching what would be considered darn near a full season of Rafael Devers in a Giants uniform. I believe 90 games last year. We're approaching 30 this year.
He's at 119.
So we're getting close to 120. You got another 20 games before that would be considered like that's a full season.
Right.
Over 1/3 of his at-bats are strikeouts. Somebody's got to, and I know that there's a language barrier or else people would be at his locker every day asking.
Well, if he was at his locker, which he's not.
And you know what? I don't really, that's fine. Maybe he's in the batting cage. I'm not one of these people that's like, I don't have a pitchfork, like, you owe it. But that is part of it. That is part of it. It's a different kind of discussion between Rafi, the media, and the fans because there's a language barrier. And you have to have a translator there, and you don't even, I love translator interviews. I'm like a question will be like 80 words, and the translator will go beepity boppity boop. And then you're like, wait a minute, did you actually just, there's that, that's a thing. That's a thing. But I am completely at a loss for what on earth is this guy has been a great hitter in this league for damn near a decade. A great, not good, great hitter in this league for damn near a decade. You got any thoughts? What the hell's going on?
Well, he must be hurt. And I mean, that's an excuse. And I don't make that excuse because if you're playing baseball and you're out there, then you are held to the standard of being a baseball player who's supposed to go out there. But something's going on because if you watch the Giants, and I watch every single game and I watch all his at-bats, the biggest problem he's having is the fastball. It's the fastball up. It's the fastball in the middle. It's the fastball in and out, up and down and all around. I was about to go Dr. Seuss on you, but I won't. It's the fastball. He's late on all the fastballs. And so that's been the biggest issue. I'm looking at his Boston numbers just in strikeouts, and he struck out once every roughly 4 at-bats, and now it's one every 2.99,
yep.
something like that. Yep. So strikeouts are up a tick. My big issue is that the power is out. So it's one thing if you're going to strike out a lot, and he does, 1 in every 4 in Boston, 1 in every 3 here. But if you make up for it with a home run, if you go 1 for 4 with 3 strikeouts and a home run, that's fine. I don't mind it. He's got 2 home runs in 120 plate appearances. That's 1 in every 60 appearances.
Third worst player in baseball.
Offensively,
Third worst player in all of baseball, based on those who qualify.
And I just looked at his contract, and he still owed 1/4 of a
billion.
1/4 of a bill, Mark.
So here's the issue. Do you play poker? You ever like you a poker player?
I do. I play poker. I'm not very good at it.
Like Hold'em, or what are you into?
Hold'em.
Okay.
I got no patience, but I love the game, but I don't have the patience to be good.
This is something that it got trumpeted, I think, in this town for a long time. Not so much with the Niners. Niners do big contracts, but the Niners have a much bigger roster, and they've had a reputation of being really good at keeping flexibility at the end of big contracts that they sign. But let's go Giants and Warriors for a second. I would argue for the last handful of years, whether it was the Farhan era with the Giants or as the guys got old for the Warriors, you've had 2 organizations that are out in the street with sandwich boards, and they're holding things up, and they got pots and pans, and they're banging them together, and there's 2 words that they're screaming at everybody. Financial flexibility. Okay, so we all got to a point where we were sick and tired of Farhan Zaidi and doing his roster on the margins. All of the little pick. It was like death by 1,000 paper cuts. And then they had that 107 win year, and everything got built around that. And that gave Farhan the power to be like, I know you want Bryce Eldridge, but I've got Austin Slater. And I'm probably going to trade for the Astros' third catcher on a Tuesday for cash. And trust me, I found somebody. Wait till you see this kid, Connor Joe. He's got a weird stance. It's going to be amazing. And he had a bunch of misses, and then he had a bunch of hits. You had guys who were like, whoa, who saw that guy coming? But one thing you could fall back on is all of your mistakes were okay because you weren't married to anything.
Right.
Farhan only dated for 5 years. He never proposed.
Never put the ring on it.
Rarely offered somebody a third date. Now, he would tell people, no, I went to a room in December and offered people rings. They just won't say yes. And then we'd come back for the season, and he'd be like, wait till you see my guy. His name is Johan, and I found him in the White Sox AA system. He's going to be great. But if you're wrong, it's okay. It's okay. We'll DFA him in a week and a half. Well, Buster came in, and I think that fans, just people in general, we love the idea of all in. You watch poker on ESPN. Oh, sunglass guy.
Yep. He's all in.
He's all in. The problem with that, and as a new regime, is Buster did it right away. And when you go all in, you get one bet. That's the problem as I see it right now for Buster Posey, is you went all in upon arrival. You shoved everything into the middle of the table, 3 massive money contracts for your infield. Chapman, Adames, Devers. If you're wrong, you're screwed. You don't get to back out of any of this.
It's tough.
And if they hit like this isn't going to go well.
It isn't, but to your point about poker, so the Devers trade, you trade some pieces. James Tibbs turns out to be the one that may come back to bite you. Harrison's been fine, whatever the rest of the compensation.
Starting to pitch well.
Jordan Hicks, I don't even know if he still plays baseball or not. But the point is, you brought in Devers, and to your poker analogy, you had pocket queens, which pocket queens are among the best hand you could possibly have. And then the flop comes, the first 3 cards, and there's no queen there. There's an ace, and there's an 8, and there's a 7, and the 7 and 8 are suited. And you're thinking, I still got queens. And then the turn comes, and that's not a queen, and it's another club. And you're thinking, Schmidt, I'm sitting on a pair of queens, and there's an overcard, the ace, on the board. So your big like risk, I think, was a sensible one. Devers is a great player. When you got him, Devers was a back of the baseball card. This guy has 7 years of being really, really good. And forget the contract. He's going to live up to it for 4 or 5 years.